ahead on 12 News, a Brooklyn Park fitness company celebrates a win at the U.S. Supreme Court.
This really helps people focus on product innovation and not frivolous lawsuits.
Then, more on the shakeup in the cable TV industry, what a Comcast deal with Charter means for consumers. But first, is it time to build an ark? How this wave of rainy weather is impacting the Northwest Metro. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. The rain total keeps inching up toward a record.
This is currently the second wettest April, and after Wednesday, we might hit number one. As we went to air on Tuesday, we were about a half-inch shy of the record. And all this rain has caused flooding on streets, including Theodore Worth Parkway in Golden Valley. Worth Parkway is closed from Golden Valley Road to Plymouth Avenue North. It will remain closed until crews can clear the standing water. And all that rain is causing a lot of headaches.
Businesses that specialize in fixing water damage say they've responded to hundreds of calls in the last few days, and city crews are doing their best to prevent problems. Here's Cassie Bonstrom.
It seems as though ducks may be the only ones enjoying this wet weather. For everyone else, it's causing makeshift lakes, road closures, and soggy basements.
They're at maximum capacity.
Brooklyn Park crews have been out all day.
And this is what we've picked up in just the last couple of hours.
Clearing storm drains, culverts, and basins to make room for all the extra water flowing through.
They've gathered lots of trucks of debris, pop bottles, leaves. Anything that flows down the street ends up in a storm sewer, which could cause it to flood.
Tom Hansen has worked with the city for 24 years and has only seen water this high a handful of times. His crews are trying to stay ahead of the problem and alleviate backups and flooding.
That's about what we got left of some pumps.
Unfortunately, not everyone has been able to avoid the water in their homes.
A lot of people coming in and it's leaking through their blocks. I've got a lot of people come in that the window wells are just filling up and then they're getting the water in through the windows.
Home Depot in Brooklyn Park has been so busy that they're relying on other stores in the Midwest to keep their shelves stocked.
We've got a shipment coming in of sump pumps because they've been going out so fast.
A smart move on their part since the rain isn't forecasted to let up until the end of the week. I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
The heavy rain is also causing a delay in street repairs. City of Crystal says it can't repair new potholes until the weather clears up, and some of the patchwork that the city did on previous potholes have simply washed away.
A New Hope man was injured when a bullet broke through a glass door in his apartment and hit him in the leg. It happened Monday night at the Crystal Towers apartment in the 5700 block of Quebec Avenue. Police say they responded to a call of a shot fired in the rear courtyard area. A resident in his 50s was taken to the hospital, treated, and released. So far, police say no arrests have been made.
When you defend yourself in a lawsuit and win, should you be stuck with the legal bill? That was the question a Brooklyn Park company took all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And today, the High Court ruled in favor of Octane Fitness. Another company had sued Octane for infringing on a patent for an elliptical trainer. Well, Octane spent nearly $2 million defending itself. And the Supreme Court ruled today that the losers of patent cases who engage in unreasonable litigation should pay the legal fees. Octane Fitness says it could help curb baseless patent lawsuits.
It'll make people think twice about putting on a lawsuit to somebody where they really don't have a chance of winning, but they're looking at that $2 million bill to slow somebody down. So that situation really slows innovation, which drives the U.S. economy.
Octane Fitness has been dealing with that suit for 5 years.
Brooklyn Park has decided on a location for a youth homeless shelter. The city's Economic Development Authority approved building a shelter on city-owned land on 76th Avenue near West Broadway. The EDA approved up to $950,000 for the project. The facility would provide shelter for 10 to 12 kids.
For the most part, the community of Brooklyn Park and this whole surrounding area has been incredibly supportive and really excited to be making this happen.
That site selected was originally supposed to be open green space, and some neighbors wanted it to stay that way. The nonprofit Avenue for Homeless Youth will have to raise $600,000 each year to keep the shelter running. The goal is to have it open before the end of the year.
Meanwhile, 3 pieces of tax-forfeited property in the northern part of Brooklyn Park are up for auction. It adds up to about 15 acres near Zane Avenue and Oak Grove Parkway. The last time these parcels were up for auction, there were no bidders, and now the prices dropped. The Brooklyn Park EDA hopes to buy the land and eventually turn it over to a developer. If the EDA has the winning bid, housing is one option for the property, although a market analysis would also be done to figure out the best use of the land. A major cable deal announced this week will impact Twin Cities television viewers.
The company that currently provides your cable service will eventually become a different one. Comcast has agreed to shed millions of cable subscribers in an effort to buy Time Warner Cable. Under the deal, Twin Cities subscribers would be managed by a new company, 67% owned by Comcast, the other 33% owned by Charter Communications. And joining us now to shed light on this deal is a man who's been through a few mergers before, the executive director of Northwest Suburbs Cable Commission, which oversees us here at Channel 12, Mike Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Mike, under this deal, a new company will control your cable service. Will the local cities around here have any sway?
They'll have some sway. The bottom line is, first you must understand that this is the initial transaction between Comcast and Time Warner is a $46 billion deal. So the federal regulations require them, the company Comcast, not to own more than about 30 or 33% of the cable systems in the country. So they have to shed some of the systems. Ours is one of those systems, and but what's going to happen over time, once this Time Warner transaction is approved between Comcast, then they're going to spin off this system to another system, which will be managed by Charter Communications. Charter is currently in the state of Minnesota, but mainly in more of the smaller cities. We will be looking at, as a cable commission, we'll be looking at three primary issues. Are they legally qualified? Are they technically qualified? And are they financially qualified? If they meet those standards, then we really will have to make an approval of that. But I should say that we do have a very strong and informed cable commission that will make sure that we get the best deal possible for the Northwest suburbs.
So everybody's wondering what this will mean for consumers. I mean, from your experience, how do you think it'll shake out? I think there's even some polls going around, surveys, that, will this be good? Will this be bad?
Does your cable bill go down?
Yeah, right.
Is the question, right?
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath on your cable bill going down. Quite frankly and very honestly, the two biggest complaints that we deal with each and every day here in our offices is customer service issues. People are concerned about the poor customer service, and they are also concerned about the price of cable. Price of cable is not just the responsibility of the cable company. A lot of it has to do with the cost of programming and sporting programming and all that that's being passed on to the consumers. So it gets a little interesting. Bottom line is we're hoping that the new company will have improved customer service.
All right, Mike Johnson, the other Mike Johnson. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
what are
for
the
being here.
chances?
Yeah, right.
Two under one roof.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, coming up, doctors try to set the record straight on immunizations. That's coming up in Health Chat.
Then later in sports, it's a District 279 showdown as Osseo-Park Center takes on Maple Grove and girls lacrosse.
But first, soggy conditions continue. Perhaps Thursday we could catch a break from all this rain.
During the month of April, human rights groups are remembering mass atrocities around the globe. And on Monday night, the Crystal Human Rights Commission heard from a leading expert on genocides. Ellen Kennedy spent 2 months in the African nation of Rwanda following the genocide there that killed up to 1 million people. And she says it's important to keep memories of mass atrocities alive.
We know that the survivors of the Holocaust are aging, and tragically the numbers of those who are still with us is becoming ever smaller. We have to truly preserve those stories. We have to be sure to teach about those stories. Otherwise, indeed, the memory will indeed fade.
Kennedy says the most commonly forgotten genocide is the mass killings of Armenians during World War I. Well, they can eradicate diseases, prevent death, but they're also the subject of controversy and misinformation.
We're talking, of course, about immunizations. This week, healthcare professionals want to promote the importance of vaccines. Delane Cleveland joins us now for today's Health Check Report. Delane?
Mike and Alex, in a child's first 2 years of life, the CDC recommends children receive 9 vaccines. One of those is for the measles, and doctors at HCMC say that on a daily basis, they get at least one person who declines the vaccine for their child.
Measles is so very, very contagious that when you have one case in a community that has a large number of unvaccinated children, it's going to spread.
Researchers say the good news is that the vast majority of Minnesota parents fully vaccinate their children. The CDC reports that routine immunizations of all children born in 2009 will prevent 42,000 early deaths and 20 million cases of disease. Meanwhile, the Department of Health says that 9 out of 10 Minnesota families vaccinate their children against measles, mumps, and rubella before they turn 2. They say the people who decline the measles vaccination are doing so based on a myth that it causes autism.
I think you need to talk to your providers and find out the real information that's out there. Vaccines do not harm children other than the pain of getting a shot. I mean, they really are the most valuable, intervention in public health we've had in years.
Doctors at HCMC stress that there is a lot of false information out there regarding immunizations, but we have a list of legitimate websites where people can learn more. You can find them on our website at 12.tv. Mike and Alex?
All right, thanks, Delane. A Maple Grove school received some special visitors from Poland. That's coming up a little bit later.
But first in sports, the Armstrong girls lacrosse team shoots for another win. John Jacobson with that and more when we come back. Boy, it's been a tough season for spring sports, and the snow and now all this rain this week. And if you're a parent of a lacrosse player, you're out there.
You got to suck it up. You're watching the game, because they are playing in most anything. Although there are some games Tuesday night that have been postponed, but Monday they played on. Maple Grove beat Osseo-Park Center in each of the past 2 seasons in girls lacrosse. OPC was looking for their first win in the series since 2011 when the teams met Monday evening. Rain and wind much of the night at Maple Grove. The highlights now. Haley Herdine passes to Paige Notsko, goes low with her shot for the goal, and early 1-0 Crimson lead. OPC's number 31, Ariana Marciniak, works her way out front. She'll shoot and score, tying the game at 1. The Crimson then score 4 of the next 5 goals, including this one. Rachel Thielen scores off the nice assist from Tippy Hill. Shayna Perro helps OPC come back, scoring right in front of the net here to make it a 6-4 game on a bad night to be an umbrella. Still in the first half, good passing by Maple Grove on this goal. Herdine to Peyton Olson to Lauren Kaufman, who scores. That makes it 7-5 Crimson. They lead at 7-6 at halftime. Second half, and Osseo-Park Center's Maddie Malone, nice run up the middle, then passes to Marciniak, who turns and scores. And that ties it up at 8. From the free position, Andy Carline passes to Margot Coombs for another goal. Osseo-Park Center's in front 11-9. Maple Grove answers that with a goal by Brittany Thronson, assist to Kaufman, but it's not enough this night. Erica Edstrom scores Osseo-PC's final goal of the night, and they beat Maple Grove for the first time in 3 years, 13-11. Also in girls lacrosse, Armstrong was seeking a 3rd straight win, and they were at home in a conference game against Coon Rapids. First half, Falcons spread the field with some nice passing. Mari Verbaten, the long toss to Hilly Holdall, and then Miranda Calbear with the goal. Calbear then returns the favor, setting up Verbaten, cutting to the net for another Armstrong tally. Amy Master will catch the high pass from Kelsey Osdijk, and Master spins and scores. And it's a 6-2 Falcons lead. Verbaten leading the offense again. Nice fake. She'll set up Osdijk, who scores with the low shot. Armstrong in control in this game. Second half, Holdall will zip out front and bury a shot off the post and in. Armstrong wins 12-7. Falcons have a big game Friday against Benilde St. Margaret's. On this week's Sports Jam show on Channel 12, Jay Wilcox talks with a couple of the many players who played big roles in the Park Center baseball team's turnaround the past couple of seasons. Here's a clip from that story.
It's been a quick turnaround. These guys are loving it. A couple of years back, Park Center was at the bottom of the Northwest Suburban Conference, and many of this year's seniors were thrown into the fire early. They never wavered in their love of the game and of playing together.
I was always confident that we'd be a pretty good team. I didn't think we'd be as good as we've been playing lately. We've been playing some pretty good teams, and we've been playing up to the level, so it's been nice.
Oh, very excited. It was we all known each other for so long that just playing baseball with these guys is just so much fun, and that's what baseball should be, is fun, not really worrying about the winning and losing.
Catcher Austin Ledeen is a clutch hitter and solid behind the plate.
It's nice to have a catcher that is really stable back there. And I mean, yesterday he came up with a huge block of a ball. You know, those are little things that a lot of people don't see or understand, but he's real gritty back there. Him and I work together calling, you know, I call the pitches. We talk about locations and he knows where he's supposed to be. And at the plate, you know, he's a presence. And he'll be the first one to tell you he's had about 4 or 5 just, you know, little dink and dunk hits this year, but then, you know, the last couple games come up with a couple line shots, and I think that, you know, he's clearly going to be one of our best hitters all year.
Brandon Budnick's contributed from 2 positions, in the outfield and on the mound.
Well, he's a rock for us. I mean, he's our center fielder, and he's one of our top pitchers. You know, his velocity is not going to blow anybody away, but that's what we knew coming in was our kids are going to throw strikes. I mean, they played 2 and 3 years at this level, so we expect that they're going to go out there. They're not going to be in awe of the situation.
You can watch the rest of that story and more on Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday here on Channel 12 and our website, 12.tv. Remember that last week when the sun was out?
Think back.
Yes.
Thanks, John. Up next, students from Poland pay a special visit to a Maple Grove school.
What they say is their favorite part of the trip when we come back. And finally, they traveled from Poland for some American flavor.
17 middle school students and 3 teachers from Poland are spending 2 weeks in Minnesota, including a visit to Heritage Christian Academy in Maple Grove. The students enjoyed a reading of Romeo and Juliet in this English class. This trip helps the students practice English, learn American culture, and meet some new friends. It's 2 thumbs up for their local homestays with families, too.
They want us to feel really comfortable and we feel like home. Yes, and I love American food because it's different, but it's really good.
All right, her favorite so far, brownies. The students will also visit the state capitol. They're going to meet with Maple Grove Mayor Mark Stephenson, and the hope is to have a group of heritage students travel to Poland for a similar exchange in the next few years. Quite an experience, but American food.
Yeah, and their English is good.
Oh, they did very well, and it'll only get better in these 2 weeks.
Excellent.
That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us, Community Corner. Coming up next, we'll see you again tomorrow.